EV owners nationwide face a brutal reality: plummeting range, agonizing charging times, and even flat-out breakdowns in the cold. Imagine spending hours waiting at a charging station with the wind whistling through your EV insulation, all while watching gas guzzlers whiz past. It's not precisely the eco-hero fantasy you signed up for. So, are we witnessing the mass exodus of EV owners crawling back to gas-powered comfort? In this video, we will get deep into the winter woes of EV ownership, exploring the shocking stats, real-life struggles, and even a surprising call for a gas car comeback. So, please stay with us till the end, and remember to subscribe to the channel first for all notifications. Cold weather and electric vehicles don't precisely cozy up together, but the recent uproar sparked by a Fox 32 Chicago report took this chilly relationship to a new level. Tesla drivers are in Oak Brook, Illinois, facing a freezing reality as temperatures dipped below zero. With the mercury decreasing, their trip to the Tesla supercharger turned into a nightmare. Chargers refused to play ball, leaving EVs stranded and their owners scrambling for solutions. Some unlucky souls even had to resort to flatbed towing because their Teslas had run out of juice. The TV station didn't hold back when they talked about how unpleasant it was at public charging sites, which they called car graveyards. And those empty EVs? People called them dead robots. What a rude awakening. This story wasn't just one voice in the void. It led Tesla users all over the country to share similar stories about how unhappy they were with their electric cars. So, what's the deal with EVs hitting a cold snap? Let's get into the details. The recent cold snap sweeping from Chicago to northern Texas has thrown a major curveball at electric vehicle owners. In Oak Brook, Illinois, near the Windy City, Teslas lined up at supercharger stations, only to find their batteries draining faster than a smartphone in a blizzard. With temperatures plunging to a bone-chilling -9 Fahrenheit of -23 Celsius, it was a struggle to stay charged. And it wasn't just Illinois feeling the freeze. Over in Ann Arbor, Michigan, with the wind howling and the mercury hovering at a chilly 7 degrees Fahrenheit, Teslas were piling up at charging stations like snowdrifts. One driver was teetering on the brink of a dead battery while stuck in line, painting a clear-cut picture of the challenges faced by EV owners in this icy ordeal. We all know EVs take a hit in the cold, but this was next-level stuff. Studies show that in subzero temperatures, EVs can lose around 10% to 36% of their range. Plus, charging becomes a snail's pace affair, if it works at all. Some Tesla owners near Chicago reported their cars refusing to juice up in the frigid weather. So, what's the science behind this frosty fiasco? It's all about those lithium ions in the battery. They zip around the electrolyte in normal conditions, churning out energy like nobody's business. But when the temperature drops, they slow down, delivering less juice and draining the battery faster. And charging? Forget about it. The electrons move sluggishly in the cold, putting the brakes on the charging process. When mercury levels decrease, the real test begins for electric vehicle EV owners. You see, batteries aren't big fans of the cold. They need to be all warmed up for those electrons to start dancing, especially when you're hitting up fast charging stations like the ones Tesla loves to flaunt. But don't throw in the towel just yet. Experts reckon you can still keep your EV rolling even in the chilliest weather with some foresight and some tweaks. But is it all worth the hassle? Take Ankita Bansal's story for example. She found herself in a pickle at a supercharger station in Pittsfield Township, Michigan, just a stone's throw from Ann Arbor. Her Tesla was sitting pretty with a measly 7% battery charge left. But her car gave her the cold shoulder when she tried to plug in. Instead of juicing up, it gave her the lowdown. The battery needed to warm up first. And did it take its sweet time? Nearly 2 hours later, her Tesla finally reached a full charge. Bruce Westlake, president of the Eastern Michigan Electric Vehicle Association, chimed in with some wisdom. He spilled the beans on a neat trick most EVs have up their sleeves. If you give your car a heads up about hitting the charging station, it can start warming up the battery in advance. Smart, right? But it can take a good half hour in freezing temps to get that battery toasty enough for charging. You might lose a few miles of range in the process, but trust me, it's a small sacrifice to make when Jack Frost comes knocking. In her new Tesla, Ankita Bansal's trip took a turn she hadn't seen coming when she hit a cold bump. As it turned out, she didn't figure out about the whole preconditioning thing until her EV broke down. She learned that lesson the hard way, for sure. Ankita isn't the only one who feels cold though. Electric cars, EVs, also start to feel the cold when the weather gets cold. Not only do you have to deal with freezing temperatures, but even a slight drop in temperature can be dangerous. In fact, because of the extra resistance in those battery cells, an EV's range can drop by as much as 30% in the worst situations. What a way to slow down speed and efficiency. Leaving your electric vehicle out in the cold without plugging it in can be a natural range killer. Recent findings from battery health startup Recurrent Auto, after testing over 10,000 cars representing the most popular electric models in the US, paint a chilly picture. On average, EVs retained about 70.3% of their range in freezing temperatures. But hey, there were some standouts in the crowd. The Audi e-tron took home the gold, losing just 16% of its range in winter, while the Volkswagen ID.4 fell short, shedding a hefty 46% of its range when the temperatures took a dip. But that's not the only thing putting the chill on your EV's range. Say hello to winter tires. With their unique rubber and tread patterns, they're like the polar opposite of summer tires. Literally, but they come with higher rolling resistance, meaning your EV's range takes a hit. Monitoring tire pressure is critical, as it tends to fluctuate with the weather. And let's not forget about underinflated tires. They're like the cherry on top, making your efficiency plummet even further. According to Michelin, rolling resistance can chop off up to 20% of your EV's range. A 30% bump in rolling resistance could mean you're chugging down 3 to 5% more electricity. Yikes. Thankfully, tire makers like Michelin, Hankook, and Nokian are coming to the rescue with EV-specific winter tires. These strike a sweet balance between grip and rolling resistance, letting your EV go the distance without skimping on safety. But let's face it, winter driving with an EV is no walk in the park. You're dealing with less range, higher expenses, and much frustration. Luxury electric vehicles can only compete with combustion engines, which produce ample heat to warm the cabin, while sacrificing efficiency and range. On frigid days, a resistive heater kicks in to keep the cabin toasty, even though electric vehicles with heat pumps may recover some of the heat from the outside. But even with a heat pump-equipped electric vehicle, the anticipated range will decrease the second you turn on the heater. According to Polestar, cold weather can reduce the range of their electric vehicles by 10 to 12%. But when they activate the climate system, the loss increases to 41%. Also, remember that regenerative braking is in place. It slows down recovery when the battery is too cold to use the juice properly. Given the frigid temperatures gripping Chicago, many electric vehicle owners are frustrated. A Fox 32 poll found that most people would think of something other than an electric vehicle as a backup. So, how do you feel about EVs? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.